Things are really changing. Maybe not in your backyard exactly, but the high latitudes up towards the Arctic, we are definitely seeing more snow and ice starting to form here compared to where we were a month ago. In today's video, we're going to take a quick look at that. We're also going to be looking at this storm that's going to be slamming into the west, first affecting parts of British Columbia, also Washington State, and then eventually this will move off to the east. We'll start to see more snow here into the Rockies, so I think this is going to be a significant snow here into the mountains, and it may actually drop snow a little bit further to the north and east of that. A little too warm here. We're going to kind of dive into that, plus there's even a little bit of snow falling into the northeast. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great Sunday wherever you are. New folks coming by, the subscriber count just keeps going up. It's blowing me away here. If you're new, my name is Travis Roberts. A little bit of a background, then we're going to move on really quickly. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that. I'm a former TV chief meteorologist, but I still do forecasting here on YouTube. So drop me a comment below. Let me know where you're watching. I always love hearing from you guys, and a lot of folks chiming in, even into Canada, where I think we're going to see some snow here from the Canadian Rockies south as we head into what will be the first month of meteorological winter, December. And here's why. I think more snow will fall across the west, a strong presence of some warm water here into the North Pacific. Of course, you start to see your seasonal changes with your cold air here. With that happening, you're going to likely see storms form here, and that's what we're seeing already. It's a big storm right now slamming into the west coast of Canada, into British Columbia, also the northwest U.S. That's going to bring some snow into the Cascades, into the Canadian Rockies, also the coastal ranges of British Columbia, and that's going to move east too. Some of that snow could get heavy. Not a lot of snow east of the mountains here into Alberta, but you move south into the lower 48, quite a bit of snow will be adding up. We're going to see feet of snow here really into the highest elevations of British Columbia, into the Cascades of Washington, with some really cold air. Snow levels will start to drop here. Across the east, though, we've got a ridge really building in here, so temperatures above average, high pressure, keeping us dry again, mostly dry. Some onshore flows starting to happen here across Florida, a few showers possible, and this is our next storm that may bring a little bit of snow here into parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, also into the Rockies as we head through the middle part of the week. But the storm parade, if you will, continues here. Again, I talked about that difference in water temperature here in the North Pacific into parts of Alaska, and I think that's going to fuel these storms. Quick look at your snow outlook. This is the European over the next couple of days. The best chance for snow will be into the mountains across the west, even a little bit of snow possible into the Green and White Mountains here into northern parts of Vermont, northern parts of New Hampshire. Even the Adirondacks could see a coating of snow at the highest elevations. Now, I think this is a bit bullish. This is the GFS. It's really kind of an outlier, trying to put down some accumulating snow here into parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, into parts of Minnesota. If you compare that to the European, not nearly as bullish as the GFS. And I think the European may be onto something here, although we'll probably see our first flakes of snow flying here across the Dakotas with this much colder air mass moving in. Speaking of snowflakes flying, again, some into the Adirondacks, the highest elevations, a quick hit of some light snow through early Monday morning, then that moves out pretty quickly, then high pressure builds in, and we dry out. We're dry from the mid-Atlantic into the southeast, although into parts of Georgia, Florida, there could be a few rain showers here. A few showers try to work into Michigan heading into Tuesday with a strong return flow moving this way. That will be a quick mover, and it is going to be really warm here. Not just from Wisconsin, but down into Illinois, Indiana, over to Michigan, further south into Missouri, Arkansas. Temperatures here way above average with this strong southwesterly flow. And it looks like our next chance for rain will be sometime Thursday. This looks like a much better chance of rain by the 31st. Heading into the 1st, though, this thing starts to weaken as it moves east, and then it sort of flattens out, and it really doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with once it moves into the southeast. Another area of cool Canadian high pressure building into the northeast, and I think our pattern starts to change here heading into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th as we start to tap into some more moisture as the weather pattern again shifts up. A cold start on Monday into the 20s across northern parts of New England, maybe even some teens in some of the sheltered valleys. Not nearly as cold, though, further south, although outside of the mountains, it may not drop below freezing, but there's probably going to be some frost here into the southern Appalachians. Not really cold enough for frost, though, into the Tennessee valleys. We start out Monday morning, lows here in the 50s, and 50s all the way north into parts of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Our southwest flow continues to develop across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, into the Great Lakes. Monday's going to be warm, but Tuesday, in my opinion, will be the warmest day of the week for many areas, with temperatures as we head into Tuesday afternoon pushing 80 for Minneapolis, St. Paul. Someone said, I don't know if we're going to get into the 80s in Michigan. I don't know that we do either, but we're still talking about mid 70s, maybe even arguably upper 70s, above average, close to 80 for Indianapolis. This is the European. The GFS is always a little bullish on temperatures, although I will say today it's backed off a little bit, but not by a lot. It's quite a bit warmer here across parts of Minneapolis, St. Paul, over to Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and even down towards St. Louis, we're talking about mid-80s. I don't know that it gets quite that warm. I think the European may have a better grapple on what's going to be happening temperature-wise, but bottom line is it's going to be really warm. Speaking of warm, we're starting out near 70 in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, up into Kansas in the 60s. Definitely not feeling like the last couple of days of October. Highs here could rival 90 into Dallas, North Texas, into the Panhandle, up into Oklahoma. A bit of a cool down on the way. It's going to take some time to get there. Another warm day on Tuesday up into the Dakotas. We're starting to feel some of that cold air, and there's your front. Do I even have to draw it out? Look at it here, stretching from Wisconsin down into Nebraska and Kansas. And it's going to start to make some headway as we head into Thursday and Friday, taking our temperatures from the 80s and 90s, dropping our highs back into the 50s and 60s, so closer to where we should be this time of year. The weather pattern does change up heading into next weekend, too, across the east. We sort of flip things around from a southwest flow to more of a zonal flow, arguably almost northwesterly here in some areas. So temperatures, I think, start to get a little bit cooler here in the east, and I've been talking about that time period somewhere between the 8th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th across the eastern U.S. for a quick shot of some cool air, and our storm pattern, I think, will continue to be very active across the west. Across the tropics now, more confidence starting to grow here. The ensemble's clearly printing something here, and enough so that the National Hurricane Center says we've got to watch this area, at least now that there's about a 30% chance of some development over the next 7 days. So they're watching it. We'll be watching it too. A lot of time still to sort of iron out exactly what happens here. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, thanks so much. Hit like, hit subscribe, come back, and I hope you have a great Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow.